여러분 안녕하세요. 차 안에서 이렇게 인사를 드리네요. 저희가 오늘 이렇게 고속도로를 달려서 가는 곳은 바로 광주입니다. 광주, 뒷골 광주. Gwangju is a central city located in Korea's southwestern or Honam region that is around 300 kilometers away from Seoul. Gwangju's nickname is 빗골 because Gwangju's Chinese characters mean light, which is 빛, and county, which is 골. Gwangju, one of the 6 major metropolitan cities in Korea, is also widely known as a city of arts, a sacred place of democratization, and the home of Korean flavor. 살짝 TMI를 말씀드리자면 저희 고향이기도 합니다.
광주 왜 가는 거예요?
자, 힌트를 드릴게요. 오늘이 몇 월 며칠이에요?
11월 20일.
22일이죠. 11월 22일이 무슨 날이죠?
무슨 날인데요?
여러분은 혹시 알고 계시나요? 11월 22일이 무슨 날인지? 알고 계신다고요? 맞아요. 바로 그날입니다. 11월 22일이 바로 땡땡의 날이죠. 그것 때문에 오늘 저희는 아침 일찍부터 광주를 가고 있습니다.
Nuri, please tell me.
11월 22일이 무슨 날인지요?
Yes.
제가 힌트를 드릴게요.
Okay.
음식의 날입니다.
Food. That's not enough.
알겠어요. 한국을 대표하는 음식의 날입니다.
Oh, I got it.
오, 생각났어요?
Rice.
땡. 아니에요.
I got it. Is it red?
아, 빨간색만 있는 건 아니지만 빨간색이 대부분이긴 해요.
I know. 떡볶이.
땡.
I'm just kidding. I'll tell you the answer. It's none other than kimchi.
딩동댕.
That's right, everyone. November 22nd is Kimchi Day. Let me briefly explain to you about Kimchi Day. Kimchi is a staple food that is indispensable to any Korean table. And in 2020, the Korean government designated November 22nd as Kimchi Day to promote the value and excellence of kimchi. The date was set as November 22nd, or 1122 because every ingredient needed to make kimchi come together one by one to create over 22 different benefits. Among Korea's legal holidays, Kimchi Day is the first to make a specific food became the star of the day. This means that kimchi has a very special place and value on the Korean table.
광주에 도착했습니다.
맞나요?
거의 다 왔습니다. 저 앞에 흰빌드 있는 데가 저희 오늘 목적지예요.
Nuri, there's something you haven't told us yet.
뭘요?
What does Kimchi Day have to do with Gwangju?
아, 김치의 날을 맞아서 이곳 광주에서 2023 대한민국 김치대전이 열리거든요. Spicy kimchi scent fill up the nostrils here. This is the scene of the Korea Kimchi Grand Festival being held at the May 18th Democracy Square in Gwangju. This year's event was held on November 22nd in conjunction with Kimchi Day. The size of the square where the Kimchi Festival is being held is about 8,000 meters square. 1,122 people gathered here to make kimchi. And they will be making 10,000 heads of kimchi today. And among the crowd, there was someone we had to meet here today. In full preparation to make kimchi with an apron and headscarf on is the Ambassador of Argentina. He presented his credential last October and took his first steps as the Ambassador of Argentina to Korea. Today's festival will be broadcast live for 2 hours on Gwangju Embassy.
자, 5.18 민주광장에서 이렇게 많은 분들과 함께 이제 2시간 동안 김치를 버무리게 될 텐데 왜 꼭 이 5.18 민주광장일까?
Today's festival is being held at the May 18th Democracy Square. It is one of the historical sites of the May 18th Democratization movement.
South Korea was under a military dictatorship for 18 years until the assassination of President Park Chung-hee in 1979. 2 weeks after the assassination, a coup d'etat took place, with a new military group taking power, led by Chun Doo-hwan. In the spring of 1980, public resistance continued, and the Korean people demanded Chun Doo-hwan put an end to martial law. However, as a response, Chun Doo-hwan expanded martial law to the whole country on May 17th. On May 18th, students in Gwangju began protests demanding the lifting of martial law and the abolition of school closures. Then, soldiers occupying major universities forcibly dispersed them and began an offensive suppression. A peaceful demonstration led to a bloody encounter when soldiers made direct attacks to disperse the protesters. The martial law forces created a perimeter on the outskirts of Gwangju, defined the citizens inside it as rioters, and began firing indiscriminately at citizens trying to leave Gwangju. In the early morning of the 27th, martial law forces carried out a final suppression operation, bringing an end to the 10-day struggle. According to the government's announcement in 1995, 166 civilians, 23 soldiers, and 4 police officers were killed, while hundreds of others were injured. However, some say that the scale of the civilian damage was much greater. The May 18th Gwangju democratization movement later became a source of nourishment for the Korean democratization movement overall, and was succeeded by the June democracy movement of 1987.
올해는 이곳에서 주먹밥을 우리가 만들어서 함께 나눴고 이제는 김치를 통해서 세계 평화와 민주주의를 더욱더 키워나가고 우리 K푸드를 알려가 나가는 이런 자리가 된 것 같습니다.
김장은 올해로 유네스코의 세계문화유산으로 등록된 지 올해가 딱 10년이랍니다. 10년인데 그 핵심적인 게 오늘처럼 다 함께 모여서 어떤 음식을 만들고 그 만든 음식을 나누는 그 공동체 정신, 그것이 핵심적인 거라고 합니다.
참가자 여러분은 지금부터 김치를 버무려 주세요.
The actual kimchi making has begun. Shall we check out the ambassador's kimchi making skills? The ambassador looks like he's having fun.
전 지금 여기 축제 현장의 한가운데 있는데 좀 눈에 띄는 참가자분들이 몇 분 계셔서 그분들한테 가서 인터뷰를 시도해 보도록 하겠습니다, 여러분. 잠깐 인터뷰 좀 할 수 있을까요?
네네네. 광주 강산구 월곡동 코리안 마을에서 왔는데요. 김치는 우리 그자 살 때는 코리안들이 거기는 아무 양념이 없었어요. 그저 고추가 마늘만 있었어요. 근데 그것만 먹고 살아가지고 여기 와서 다시 한국 김치 먹어보고 그저 김치를 못 먹어요, 저는.
우즈베키스탄에서도 김치를 드시긴 하셨네요.
예, 당연하죠. 코리안들은 다 지금 어떤 민족인지 다 김치를 먹어요. 거기서.
No matter where you live in the world, kimchi is inseparable from the Korean people.
여기 또 유학생들이 모여서 김치를 담그고 있는 곳이 있습니다. 맞아요. 한번 안녕하세요. 저 혹시 인터뷰 짧게 가능할까요?
호남대학교 유학생이에요.
한국으로 유학을 오게 된 이유가 있어요?
한국 문화, 한국 문화 재미있기 때문에 그래서 저는 유학했어요.
김치 좋아하세요?
네네네, 좋아해요. 따끈따끈한 중국传统 만두, 네, 그 김치랑 잘 어울립니다.
Kimchi goes well not only with Korean food, but also with food from other countries. If there is a food from your country that goes well with kimchi, please recommend it to us.
여기 좀 특이해 보이는 김치들이 많아요.
우리 광주 시민들의 부서도
여기는 광주 전남에 300년 이상 터를 잡고 살아온 종가들, 명가의 김치를 재현했거든요. 지금은 현대적으로 많이 바뀌었고 지금 김치는 다 이렇게 빨간색이 많은데 예전 김치는 보면 약간 고추를 갈아 넣은 느낌밖에 없어요.
오, 그렇네요.
There was a lot of kimchi I had never seen before, so I decided to sample some.
김치에 곶감을 넣었어요.
예전에는
원대로 이
설탕이
비옥한 전라남도 땅에는 정말 많이 나오지 않습니까?
단맛이
그에 대한 자부심이 남다르실 것 같아요.
말려서 김치를 넣었대요.
신한 척인육 젓갈등이 전남에서 생산이 됩니다. 그래서 안전하고 건강하고 맛있는
진짜
김치가
맛있다.
전남산이기 때문에
단맛이
맛있습니다.
있죠.
I am finding out about the world of kimchi that even I, a Korean, didn't know about here at the Kimchi Grand Festival. I finally met the ambassador in the middle of the festival. The kimchi making wasn't over yet, so we decided to meet after the festival was over.
Did you have fun?
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun? I wanted to taste your kimchi, but I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't?
I couldn't. I missed my chance.
I think I tasted everybody's kimchi, so.
Really?
I think Korea and Argentina have become one today through kimchi. Now that the festival is finally over, it is time to interview the ambassador. We decided to conduct the interview on the rooftop of Cheonil building, right in front of the square.
하나, 둘, 셋. Okay, so first things first, how did you come to attend today's event?
Actually, this is the first year that we have in Argentina the National Kimchi Day. The law was promulgated in June.
Kimchi Day is celebrated not only in Korea but also around the world. In August 2021, the U.S. state of California became the first overseas region to establish Kimchi Day. Other U.S. states, as well as the Brazilian city of Sao Paulo and the UK's Kingston district, also followed to celebrate Kimchi Day on November 22nd. Argentina became the first country outside of Korea to establish Kimchi Day at the national level.
A lot of people in Korea heard about it, so we got a lot of invitations to attend different Kimjang, and we thought that Gwangju was the best place to start for the first year.
So how did it feel to make your own kimchi today? I saw you making kimchi and you're very into it. So
Yes.
how was it?
It was very interesting, a bit tiring, and because, of course, everybody was so kind to me, not only to teach me, but to give me to taste. I had a lot of kimchi. I'm still like a bit from also other kimchi. I had kimchi from the mayor of Gwangju, from the president of MBC Gwangju, from the vice governor, from the mothers of May. So it was amazing.
We asked the ambassador to show us some proof of his kimchi making from today.
옷에 김치 자국 있는 거.
Yes, I am sure you're used to having very clean and neat diplomats, but maybe this is a first for you.
Wow.
I think everyone can see that I took it very seriously.
Yes, you're the first ambassador that we're interviewing after you make kimchi.
I can't believe it. I'm sure nobody came to your interviews this dirty.
Oh, but I can see how enthusiastic you are.
I think you can tell.
So do you sometimes enjoy kimchi?
Yes, of course.
Really?
I like kimchi. It's a bit spicy, but it gives you like a boost.
So as you mentioned that Argentina also started celebrating Kimchi Day starting from this year. So how did this come about?
You know, Argentina is an immigration country. So originally the idea was that we were going to have November 22, Kimchi Day, as a day of celebration of the Korean community and the Korean immigrants in Argentina. But one senator, that she was like the author of the law, her name is Maggie Quintana, and she's a big fan of kimchi. So actually now it's kimchi and Korean Immigration Celebration Day.
So are there many Korean immigrants in Argentina?
Yes, we have, I think, together with Brazil, the largest Korean community, and we have the biggest Korean town in Latin America.
Wow.
Baekgu is the name of the Korean town.
On October 14th, 1965, the first Korean agricultural immigrant group, consisting of 78 people, arrived at the port of Buenos Aires. A Korean community began to form as these people settled in La Marque, located 1,100 kilometers from Buenos Aires. The number of Koreans in Argentina reached around 40,000 in the late 1980s, and as of 2023, there are around 23,000 Koreans estimated to be living in Argentina.
So I've heard that the people you made kimchi with today are members of the Gwangju Mothers Association.
Yes.
And did you know about this group before?
Yes, before I came to Korea, I saw a documentary. It's called, in English, it's called Good Air, Good Light, because, well, Buenos Aires means good air in English, and Gwangju is good light, right? So it compares the mothers of Argentina with the mothers of the movement of May in Gwangju.
May Mother's House is an organization created by women involved in the May 18th democratization movement. It was established to remember the women who devoted themselves to the May 18th democratization movement and create a space for their comfort and communication. The mothers protecting the restoration of the old Jeonnam provincial office, the mothers that the ambassador made kimchi together today, is part of the May Mother's House. It is a group composed of the families of the May 18th victims and the injured. And in Argentina, there is an organization called Mothers of the Plaza de Mayo, created by mothers of people who went missing during the Dirty War, launched by the Argentine military government. On April 30, 1977, a meeting began with 14 women demanding the truth about the whereabouts of their missing children in the Plaza de Mayo. In December 1980, after the first March of Resistance, the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo wore their symbolic white towels on their heads. Every Thursday, they circled the Plaza de Mayo in front of the presidential palace, demanding an investigation into the truth about the military regime's atrocities and punishment of those responsible.
So actually the significance of that is how we decided on the location for today's interview as well. This building, Jeonnam building, contains the painful history of May 18th democratization movement. This is one of the symbols of May 18th movement. So did you know about the May 18th movement before?
Yes, I learned a lot about the movement when I saw this documentary. It's by a director from Gwangju. He's an artist called Im. After I saw the documentary, I got to study a bit about the May movement, and it was striking for me the similarities between Argentina and Korea in that sense. You know, Korea and Argentina, we are so far away geographically and culturally, and but sometimes you see how these things bridge the two countries, and including like the pain of the mothers, right, looking for their sons.
On March 24th, 1976, Argentine Army Commander Jorge Rafael Videla staged a coup in the name of resolving the national crisis. After forming a military government with the commanders of the Air Force and Navy, Videla implemented repressive politics, such as declaring martial law, dissolving the parliament, and banning labor union activities. As such, the 7-year reign of terror is called the Dirty War, or Guerra Sucia. At the time, terrorism, torture, and information manipulation were carried out against citizens who opposed the military dictatorship. It is estimated that between a few thousand and up to 30,000 people went missing or were murdered during this period. In the early days of the Dirty War, trade unions and other potential opposition groups were severely repressed by the regime. Then, the labor community began to speak out again, and in the 1980s, the mothers of the missing and other civic groups also began protesting against the regime. In April 1982, Argentina started the Falklands War. The ostensible reason was to reclaim the Falkland Islands, but it was a means of resolving internal problems caused by the military dictatorship through external crises. As Argentina was defeated in this war, support for the military further weakened and civic activities and protests expanded. After the decisive mass protests of December 1982, electoral politics resumed, and democracy in Argentina was restored with the election of Raúl Alfonsín as president in 1983.
So can we say that movement is one of the parts of how Argentina became the democratic country?
Yes, of course, just like Korea. And that's why I feel that the connection is so important, how the fight of mothers, that they want to know what happened to their kids. And this is so strong, this is so universal, right? I think everyone can relate to that.
So last year, Hebe de Bonafini,
Yeah.
the co-founder of Plaza de Mayo Mothers Group, passed away.
Yes.
So could you please tell about her?
Yes, she's a very strong figure. She was, of course, since the beginning fighting to know what happened to her kids. And of course, what I realized, because, you know, in Argentina, this was 76 to 83. In Korea, the May movement was 90-80. Many of the mothers already are very old. And little by little, of course, they're also going away. So it's very important for us to keep, you know, their struggle and their perseverance as symbols of the importance of democracy, both in Korea and in Argentina. We should always be together and talk about these issues and make sure that the new generations, they also find out, they learn about the importance of democracy and human rights, because otherwise people just take them for granted.
So what can we do more to preserve our democratic values?
I think that, for example, what they are doing here in Gwangju, you know, to keep memory, justice and truth as core values of the society, we should always pay attention to that and help it and make it known everywhere. And I think that if we make the importance of democracy in Argentina known to Koreans and the importance of democracy in Korea known to Argentinians, we will already be helping a lot as well, making other people learn about the history and, of course, preserving history.
So let's talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
So you presented your credentials last month.
Exactly,
right?
October
So,
17th.
I always ask this question to new ambassadors to Korea, but is there any reason that you were posted to Korea as an ambassador?
Well, of course, you know, this is not like in diplomatic careers, it's not like, how can I say, like an amusement park where you choose the rides. Sometimes you get offered, and when I received the offer to come to Korea, for me it was such a big honor. It is actually not the first time that I come to Korea. I was here in 2011 building the Argentine pavilion very close to Gwangju in Yosu Expo.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually, I have a very deep connection to Cholanamdo. It's the second time that I'm in Gwangju since I arrived as ambassador, but previously I had been here, I think, a month and a half in Yosu.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that because actually my hometown is Gwangju.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So,
I just went to high school near the plaza.
Wow, it's an amazing city.
Yeah, what was the first occasion?
The first occasion I visited Gwangju was last month. There was an international seminar. You know that one of the campaign promises of President Yoon was to create the Institute of May 18 to make it known internationally. I was invited to come to the first activity of this institute that was created by President Yoon. So for me, of course, it was a big honor to be the first ambassador to open this institute. And I think they invited me also because of the similarities in history and the similarities in what happened. So that was the first time that I came to Gwangju, but the third time I was in Cholanamdo.
So what are some of the things on your to-do list?
Well, one thing I managed to do it today, which was learning how to make kimchi. That was a very important.
And you nailed it.
Well, I don't know. Actually, the mothers, they were kind of like getting a bit angry because I was a bit stingy on the gochujang. You know, they would tell me all the time, not enough. You should put more gochujang. I was like being very careful in the beginning, but then they showed me that I had to throw more gochujang into the picture. Well, I think for being the first time, I'm quite happy, but I hope the next time, next year, I'm going to do it better. And regarding other things, as I said, it's the first time that I'm ambassador, so I think I have a lot to learn. We have a lot of economic connections between Argentina and Korea, apart from the historical immigration connections. So I'm still learning.
After the interview, I visited the May 18th commemoration space created inside the Cheonil building with the ambassador.
Actually, we have one place called the ESMA, which used to be a center of torture, and it was declared World Heritage 2 months ago by UNESCO as well.
2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah.
I didn't know until I prepared this interview that Argentina has a similar history with Gwangju.
Exactly. So when people hear it, it's kind of easy to make the connection, and it's easy to bring the two countries together. What happened in the past was tragic. But I think that the only way that we can process it as societies is to celebrate it in a way, to find a celebration of life in the past tragedy. We cannot forget, but we can also either take it as a tragic thing forever. We have to find life in the past tragedy and celebrate that. And I think that being here with the mothers making kimchi is a way to find the celebration and celebrate life with our past tragic history.
I think it is a very important point.
Yeah, I think that's why I thought it was very good to make kimchi here, because kimchi in a way links us in the terms of the immigration of the Korean immigration to Argentina, but it's also a celebration of life and of family and of food and of traditions. And so that's why I thought it has to be Gwangju, because it's a way to not just delve into history and in the tragic past, but also make something useful for the future and for the future generations with a tragic past.
The last words of the ambassador left a big impression on me. In that sense, I think the Kimchi Festival today will remain in my memory for a long time.